Hi everyone, Drake Pledger with Flintlock Operator here. Today we're going to be talking about shooting positions. We don't depend upon these type of weapons every day for our defense and for our to put meat on the table. And because of that, so much of the use of these weapons we've developed into very much of a sport aspect, whether it's target shooting or reenacting. And generally, whenever we participate in those activities, we're either shooting from an offhand position, standing, or we're sitting down at a bench. And while I'm sure there were people back during the 18th and 19th century who shot from those positions, obviously there are far more shooting positions that we can utilize to whether it's target shooting or during reenactments or even during hunting. There's far more shooting positions that we can utilize besides those two. Today we're going to talk about those shooting positions. Stay tuned. Now, these shooting positions that we're going to talk about today, I learned in the general rifle course by Master Firearms instructor Tom Russell. And Tom is a certified Master Firearms instructor under Colonel Jeff Cooper. And these shooting positions are also shown in Colonel Cooper's book, The Art of the Rifle. I would highly recommend you pick up a copy of that book and, of course, come take a class from Tom. He's an excellent instructor and we'll have more to say about him later. Now, I'm sure you're all going to cry, but wait, Drake, some of these positions weren't around until the 1960s and 70s. Well, physics doesn't change and the human body doesn't change. We're going to go ahead and learn and utilize all of these positioning techniques so we can maximize our versatility with these antiquated weapons. Before we start getting into the other shooting positions, let's go over the proper technique for shooting from the shoulder. We grasp our rifle just below the swell right there. That's going to be our balance point. We're going to have our elbow directly beneath the stock, and we're going to put our elbow out like a chicken wing out beside our shoulder. That's going to create a pocket right here for the butt of the musket to sit in. So the proper position will be this. And then if we wanted to, we could even get our arm into the sling like that, if we had time to get in that position. And obviously with modern rifles, there's quite a few sling shooting techniques, but right now we're just going to shoot straight from the shoulder because probably most flintlocks right now don't have slings on them. So we've got our loaded musket here. Put it back to full cock. Remember, we're going to keep that elbow underneath the gun. We're going to have our hand resting just below the swell where the point of balance is. We're going to put our arm out in chicken wing fashion. Look at our target. Press the trigger. And that's it. All right, our first shooting position is going to be against a brace. So this could be a tree, it could be even on a fence post, and you could post your hand up on it. But for right now, since there are no fence posts out here for quite a ways, we're going to do it up against a tree. Now what we're going to do is we're almost going to lean most of our body weight on our brace here. And then with the valley between our forefinger and thumb, we're going to rest the gun there. And again, I'm creating that pocket with my right arm, and the musket is there braced in that pocket, and now the gun is rock solid. So now I can put it on full cock, breathe out, let it happen. Boom. Smack the tree. All right, in this position it's similar. But instead of bracing up against that vertical tree, I'm going to brace up against this leaning tree with my palm. And again, the gun's going to be cradled between my thumb and forefinger. This next position is called rice paddy prone. And it's done from here in a squatting position. And if you don't have some place that you can brace and the ground's too uneven, rocky, or unsuitable for going fully prone, well, you crouch down like this, and for this you got to be flexible, and you got to be able to squat all the way down on your haunches. So we're all the way down, our feet are flat on the ground, toes pointed slightly apart. And for this, for the braced techniques, we're pushing our weight up against an object. And here we're going to use our legs as those immovable objects. So we're going to put our elbows on the inside of our knees and push our elbows out and squeeze our knees in slightly. And this will create a more stable shooting position. Again, breath in, out, let it happen. And you rock back like that. Just go with the flow and follow through with the shot. Don't flinch, just let it happen and you'll make the shot. This last shooting position is the fully prone. We're going to need to go from that standing or moving position to flat on the ground. Now that we're on the ground, we're going to have as much of our body flat on the earth as possible. Like we were using it in the sling or a tree or our knees for a steady position, we're going to use the earth now. So we're going to want as much contact with the ground as possible. And like in the standing positions, we're going to have our left elbow underneath the gun. And while we're not going to be able to put our arm all the way out to the side, we're going to have it as stable as possible out to the side. And we're not going to be able to create quite as big of a pocket as we normally would if our arm was out straight out to the side. So we're going to have to really make sure on this one that we keep our cheek against the riser and keep the stock against our shoulder. Elbow underneath. Good contact on the ground to happen. Tally ho, lads. So here's what we have, probably just about the best position we can find ourselves in. So we've got a log for stabilization and I'm in prone. We've got maximum amount of contact to the ground. And now when I look down the barrel, there's almost no movement at all. And this log is really short, so I've got to get down pretty far. But you know what? It's even more steady that way. There you go. I have to clean my musket now. Well, thank you guys so much for coming along and watching. I really enjoyed getting out here into the woods, doing a bit of shooting and sharing what I've learned. And I'm very thankful to share what I've learned with everyone. I know I've still got a lot to learn, and speaking of which, again, I highly recommend Tom Russell with the American Firearms Academy. He teaches pistol, rifle, carbine, shotgun classes. I've taken almost every single one of his classes and they are top-notch. Tom Russell is, of course, a Master of Firearms Instructor certified by the Colonel Jeff Cooper himself. And even if you're not in the DFW area, I cannot highly recommend his classes enough, and they're well worth the time, money, and travel to take them. Thank you guys so much for watching it today, and we'll see you on down the trail in the next video. If you're wondering what a round ball, if you're wondering what a 69 caliber round ball will do to a small tree, that's what it'll do. Ouch.